What's going on? It's Justeeni here. This is a very special occasion, World Championships with Yadakk, as you can see. But this isn't just like any two strong players. Like, this is the RAMDINGLER, the one and only, and Civet, another very strong 1v1 live game player, duking it out in the grand finals to see who's the best Yadakk player. And Yadakk is a pretty solid tribe, no doubt. Tribe that I think has a good chance of making it to Sweden. So this is very high stakes here. So, as usual, these are small leagues, best of 3, host alternates. So with this first one, RAMDINGLER is going to be hosting in the east, and let's get right into things. So I've got the shared fog once again, kind of like last time you saw the last one. See two very different openings, RAMDINGLER going for that road opening, org pre-cap, and we see a no road opening by Civet, choosing to play things more safe, which makes sense in Civet's position. He doesn't have a good way to do road opening. And RAMDINGLER, on the other hand, kind of can make it work. Now we see Explore from Civet, because RAMDINGLER's above 1,000 points. He's going to get that 5 median stars. Get lots of vision in the middle. We see kind of a lot of water surrounding this middle area. But then RAMDINGLER also getting the Explore, aiding Civet. Delaying that Explorer one turn as host is always a good idea. RAMDINGLER just playing in a very principled way. Now getting the upgrade, likely making some warriors. Usually in these Yadakk games, you want a lot of warriors because you can use the roads. And now we also see riders just supporting this warrior here. If you don't get this rider, then things get a little sketchy, as there can be some annoying plays where you have the warrior and then the rider come in. Warrior can block while the rider steps on the village, add some extra support from these cities, and Civet would be the one taking it. This rider is necessary to prevent that. And yeah, so we see the rider from RAMDINGLER. Now we see upgrades again, not using road connections at all. And Civet just decides to back up, not training any more units here, just using what he has, trying to go a bit on the greedier side, kind of noticing he's a little cut off from the map. So he needs to play in a more economic way. Get the farms, get the giants. Yadakk struggles against giants a lot, so it does make sense. RAMDINGLER now making a lot of units. Civet going onto this village, training nothing again, going very greedy because he needs to get farming and all that going. But RAMDINGLER immediately punishing that, going for the ruin, going for the village. Civet resigns on the spot because it costs 6 stars just to get the village back. RAMDINGLER can send more riders along the way. You might not even be getting this village if you're Civet. And you're definitely not getting the ruin. So things are just falling apart immediately now. Kind of going a little too greedy, because the greed makes sense. You want to use your farms. You want to try to get construction, maybe even trade. Border growth here can always be nice. Get the giants going, start to counterattack. But it just was a little too greedy here. But anyway, on to the next match. Alright, next match, RAMDINGLER with 1 point, and again, hosts alternate, so now Civet is hosting in the south, whereas RAMDINGLER is in the north, not hosting. Civet is in a must-win situation. If he wants to win, he's got to do the reverse sweep here. We see this time both players going for road openings, and they're both able to make it work. RAMDINGLER with a bit of a slower start. Because of that, there was not guarantee that he would have both of his villages nearby. They went for it anyway, and it still kind of works out. Now, Civet being able to use a nice lighthouse spawn, getting a very quick economy. RAMDINGLER can't really say the same. He even goes for the warrior going for his own lighthouse. And it's going to be a good deal slower. See RAMDINGLER getting the Explorer, and to his dismay, finding water in the middle of the map. Not ideal, but he does find some ruins. Now Civet, on the other hand, going very greedy. Upgrade on the capital. And then now getting this extra village, not upgrading this yet in case he wants an Explorer. And now RAMDINGLER stepping on both ruins, hoping to get something very good here. Civet, on the other hand, very greedy with the farming, but he's got really good density, so he's capturing a lot of villages in quick succession. RAMDINGLER unfortunately gets double veteran sword. Worst case scenario for the ruins, because again, he knows that there's that water. Can't attack the opponent right away with these vet swords, so really unfortunate there. Now, Civet is just going to take advantage of this farming, using roads also, keeping a few cities low level, but just to get that Grand Bazaar a turn sooner, he's going to spend a lot of roads. We'll see if this ends up paying off. You see RAMDINGLER, on the other hand, trying to expand really quickly, take advantage of these vet swords, take as many cities as he can, not nearly as focused on eco. Now we see fishing from Civet, getting that Explorer, meeting RAMDINGLER now. Again, Civet kind of could already tell there was water in the middle with all these cities that have water. So he already knew what kind of game it was going to be. Same with RAMDINGLER after that first Explorer. Now another Explorer, Civet just trying to get more vision. Maybe a lighthouse so then he can upgrade his capital for cheaper. Gets the lighthouse there, which is Warrior is already heading towards anyway. Another Explorer fired off, so he was saving all these villages to fire off as many Explorers as he could to just hopefully snag I Have God with 3 Explorers. Really, really strong idea here, because if it pays off, it's really good, and even if it doesn't, he still gets phenomenal vision, which will be able to inform him what to do in the future, and it pays off. Perfect. Just as planned, gets the giant without having to even spend a farm there. Park of Fortune, he has Grand Bazaar on hand, and I Have God. So he's just going to be able to go absolutely wild. You can really see the power of Yadakk in this situation. Turn 8, giant, multiple other giants set up, 25 star per turn. RAMDINGLER struggling in comparison. He does get the Explorer, but his economy is no match. And because he got this Explorer without foresight with the fishing, getting it a bit prematurely even, he's not going to have that same chance of I Have God unless he fires it from this city, but his economy is already suffering, so he has to kind of spend even more. Now we see Sailing Rune, which is just amazing here. And there's going to be lots of ports going down. 4 ports, 3 giants already. And yeah, now we see fishing from RAMDINGLER. He's going to try and get his own giant, but it's turn 9. And against the host advantage, where we see 3 giants on turn 9, it's certainly not great for RAMDINGLER, but he is going to be able to get that Eye of God. Place it in the middle, go for resources, not going for a wall, really just hoping that he can hang on to things without the need for a wall. Goes for giant now. Park of Fortune here, so he doesn't want the wall because he's just going for a giant instead. Workshops, and he is catching back up in economy. And city count wise, if we just pause real quick, we see Civet with just that perfect 6 cities. That's really all you need with Yadakk. RAMDINGLER with an extra city and being able to use this vet sword to potentially make that 8 cities if he really wants to. Though Civet's getting this. So it looks like RAMDINGLER will be able to sustain a nice 1 city advantage, but will that matter? Civet already has farming, RAMDINGLER does not. So Civet is going to have the superior economy with fewer cities and the superior super unit count. More ports already. He's got that tempo advantage. And even though RAMDINGLER is a slight advantage in the long term, it might not matter here. We'll see. There's still another ruin back there, which RAMDINGLER is going to claim. RAMDINGLER getting a lot of ruins this game. Now another giant roading onto here, but Civet already has a giant ready to kick off the vet sword. Now lots of scouts take advantage of that sailing ruin that he got. And again, Civet's economy is just phenomenal here, plus he already has all this pressure. Things are just going amazing. Now we see farming from RAMDINGLER before capturing the city. Goes for an Explorer, despite already having Eye of God. He wants the vision, and he knows he's probably going to lose the city. Might as well see what's going on. Not very pleasant for RAMDINGLER. Another ruin for Civet also. Not sure if Civet actually is aware of that. Another giant just to try to hold on to things. Are we going to see a city wall? No, we are not. We're actually going to see upgrading, getting resources, which I think is a mistake because you're about to lose that city just as quick as you upgrade it. Now ramming, really trying to kick the giants off, and we see just all this pressure, and these giants getting close to the shoreline looks a little dangerous, but since RAMDINGLER does not have any riders, you can't actually punish this. You can hit with the warrior a couple times, but that's not going to be very devastating, and the siege here is quite the problem. There's a lot of issues for RAMDINGLER here. Again, Civet just having a major tempo advantage because he developed that economy fast. RAMDINGLER instead kind of abandoning the city entirely, just trying to defend here. Scare off these juggernauts maybe. But they just kind of shuffle around, get some damage anyway. Now we see more rammers, juggernauts down. Civet just has too many super units and he's taking the city, so soon Civet is actually going to be able to win the city advantage, cashing in on that early initiative. And he's still going. He's not done yet. RAMDINGLER still trying to fight for his life. Hold on to the city, just maybe. It's not looking too promising, but the giant might just be able to help. But the rammers are going to go in here, and it looks like with that extra support, it is looking quite hopeless for RAMDINGLER, just not able to hold on. RAMDINGLER had that extra city count, but with all that focus on expansion as opposed to eco, part of it being that little worse village density in the middle, things just don't end up panning out for him. Civet also with a really genius triple delayed explorer play, which honestly helped a lot here. Having that extra monument in the pocket really helped with that initiative, really enabled that attack. But now RAMDINGLER just messing around and resigns. But that makes it 1-1, still anyone's game. Now let's cut to the final match. Alright, final match. This time, once again, RAMDINGLER versus Civet. And already before anything even happens, we can see the central lake, and RAMDINGLER has immediate port access. Just taking quick note of that, because that might be important later. But yeah, RAMDINGLER in the north, both sides going for road openings, knowing that they can get away with it based on the likelihood of villages and whatnot. Not gonna talk too much about that, just know that road opening is good here for both players. Going for the workshop. Now we see organization pre-cap. RAMDINGLER got the very fortunate lighthouse road opening, which is extremely powerful. We can see 8-star per turn on turn 3 and 3 cities. Unheard of, plus this perfect box here. Civet already needing to catch up just from the opening because of this very, very strong start. We see the Explorer runs into the mountain though, costing him just 1 star per turn, but RAMDINGLER's absolutely in a position to take risks. We see Workshop from Civet seeing again this middle lake. Civet very disciplined on when and when not to get Explorers, I've noticed. Very good at recognizing the right times, refusing to risk it when it doesn't make sense. Now we see RAMDINGLER, another Explorer, trying to get a lighthouse because he needs it for the capital, and he does get it. Look at that capital, by the way. That is enough for a giant. Your eyes do not deceive you. He's going to be able to get it. Civet, on the other hand, behind an expansion, he is getting a decent economy, but we see climbing ruin doesn't really matter. Places the port because he has the stars to do that. Doesn't want to bother with this fruit here. We see population though, Civet making up for this crazy start, getting a pop rune on his own, allowing him to get a quick giant, possibly on turn 7, but RAMDINGLER's already in the water with a Juggernaut on turn 7, and also very nice play here, skipping the village so then he can get Grand Bazaar a single turn earlier. Again, remember the Yadakk, Grand Bazaar super important, so we don't care about this 5th city as much as we do the 6th city back there. So very nice play there, optimizing the expansion really well. Now we see upgrade, get the giant. On turn 7 again, very early giant, especially for Yadakk, but both sides getting kind of very high roll spawns. It's just, so far it looks like RAMDINGLER this is done even better. There is this village for Civet. If he can hold on to this, he can get a nice grip in the water, because despite the fact that RAMDINGLER had this coastal capital, which is very fast for him getting in the water, in the long term, he just has 2 port spots. What you need to do here is Civet, if we kind of recognize what's going on here, Civet doesn't have the best vision, but Civet has 3 port spots, despite placing the Park of Fortune here. So in the long term, he actually has superior water access, and taking this would only ensure more water access. If he can use that, he can get right back in this game. But if RAMDINGLER takes this, then it's the other way around. RAMDINGLER would completely dominate. But both sides with 1 giant in the water, Civet actually looking to potentially get a 2nd giant in pretty soon. See now Civet meeting RAMDINGLER, grabbing the lighthouse. Still not a very clear way to get another giant besides like forestry or something. Now farming from RAMDINGLER, that is going to help with getting more giants, giant in this city in particular. Now Explorer meeting Civet. RAMDINGLER probably already knew that he was in the south, but the confirmation, and alongside getting that lighthouse back there, which is going to help because Grand Bazaar will be, well, Grand Bazaar already was, but it's a little cheaper now. Instead, we do see Grand Bazaar here though, which makes sense. Again, going for that giant, that's why you got farming. And again, RAMDINGLER really wanting to pressure in the water, trying to steal the city. Now we do see forestry from Civet, trying to get those giants going. It's very important here. Now, upgrading the city. Another Juggernaut, so Civet will be up in Giants in the water, which might help a little bit because, again, RAMDINGLER doesn't have very many other units, and he even runs the Scout into the Juggernaut, which isn't great. But RAMDINGLER does have a plan, moving the Juggernaut in the village, which looks like a waste of time. Why would you want your Juggernaut to take it? You need it in the water to fight, but he has a plan. This is actually a really, really incredible play here. And you'll see why just in a bit. There's a few really good things to it. So, first off, like, the important thing is you can't send a raft onto here now because the giant has taken it. But the next big thing, in addition to that, and this is what really makes this a very strong play here, is that RAMDINGLER, let's go back. Sorry. RAMDINGLER's not interested in taking the city, actually. He's just going to get a nice 12 chunk of damage for free. No retaliation. If there were a Juggernaut instead, I think it's only like 10 damage, and then his own giant would be vulnerable to retaliation, so not really free in that sense. But if this Juggernaut were to counterattack, you would take 11 damage of retaliation. Super bad, in fact. Trying to trade damage here, which means you actually can't do anything about this. You just took 12 damage because you wanted to kill the Scout, not realizing that the Juggernaut had landed here on a village, which I think was a bit of poor foresight by Civet. He could have instead moved the Juggernaut here to splash the Scout, and then I think his other Juggernaut could have done something else. I don't know. But killing the Scout was not worth it here. That 12 chunk of damage will prove to be a huge, huge deal. And RAMDINGLER keeping his Scouts near this giant, so again, if you want to hunt the Scouts, you have to take massive blows of damage that just aren't worth it. Now we see Civet going for Saline. Civet trying to pressure anyway, though, just trying to overwhelm this, but it's just going to be too costly here. You're kind of forced to ignore. But RAMDINGLER, also another play here we can see. An attempt to keep his Scout safe by moving the warrior on the village, intentionally letting it die, but RAMDINGLER is able to do a really nice outplay here, hitting with the warrior, taking the damage, so then he can move the sword on, hit the Scout, hit this again, getting amazing trades here is RAMDINGLER. And Civet would have been an even fight in the water, starting to really turn in RAMDINGLER's favor, and this is very unfortunate because Civet needed to win this battle. We can see RAMDINGLER's early economy advantage starting to spiral further. And these little plays, you can see Civet still trying to fight really hard. It's still pretty close, but those Juggernauts are weakening too much and things are starting to fall apart. Now a quadism from RAMDINGLER, very good recognition. He has 2 Juggernauts in the water, he wants to keep them safe. Ramming from Civet again, going all in. And it looks like he's got a very strong navy, but his Juggernauts are too flimsy at this point. And we're gonna see, as quickly as this navy gets set up, RAMDINGLER gets to explore. Archery ruin, because why not? And it's just gonna completely fall apart. There's no backbone to this navy, and now it's just completely gone. RAMDINGLER also invading on land at the same time. Just simply too much for Civet. Civet doesn't even have Grand Bazaar here, and it is just simply over. RAMDINGLER showing his prowess with a unit micro and aggression. That's what we know RAMDINGLER for, and he gets it done. Huge shout out to RAMDINGLER, the one and only. I hope that he does make it to Sweden this time. I really want to see it happen, but he's got a good chance with Yadakk. Yadakk's a very, very solid tribe. So very, very excited for that. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.